It's the way Singapore wakes up. Wake up, Glenn, Angel, and the Flying Dutchman.
Wake up in the morning feeling like
Kiss 92's Big Show.
Good morning, Singapore. It's a lovely Thursday morning. Hope your morning's turning out exactly the way you want it to. It's certainly turning out exactly the way I want it to, because we have once again our amazing guest every Thursday. He is the CEO and founder at Career Agility International, Mr. Adrian Choo. Good morning, Adrian.
Morning, Glenn. Good morning, Kyle.
Good
And
morning,
to
Adrian.
all our Kiss 92 listeners out there. It's always such a wonderful thing to be here every Thursday morning.
It's always nice to have you in the flesh right
Yes.
here in the studio.
In studio with this amazing energy as well.
It's fun. I mean, it's fun. It's amazing. It's and you know, whenever you do a Zoom or a remote, you don't feel the energy. You know, I love high-fiving you guys and everything. So
Yeah.
and just watching you guys in action. Okay.
You know who's listening in
Masterclass.
right now, right? Not Nat, she's still running. Jerry, Sito. They're going like,
All the virtual
now we
guests.
feel like we need to go in the studio as well. You're most welcome, everyone. Please come into the studio. We love it. Okay, so Adrian, today we're talking about new meeting rules that we should adopt, but you feel we probably never will. What exactly are we talking about?
Yeah, because I was talking to a client last week, and he was telling me that he spends close to 65 to 70% of his time in meetings.
Okay.
And he hates it. He says half the time it's not productive, half the time they're just there because they have to be there. And, it's just a waste of time.
But
This-
being a
this-
construction worker out there under the sun.
Well, yeah. But sometimes you go into a meeting and then you leave the meeting and the first thought in your head was, this could have just been an email. Just send me an email telling me everything that you tried to tell me for the past 2 hours because I can read that in 15 seconds.
Yeah, or you leave the meeting going, what was that all about? I don't
Right.
even know what was I even called for this meeting.
But you see, Kyle,
Yeah.
the thing here is, I mean, since you brought that up,
Yeah.
right? I mean, the only reason why we do virtual meetings is obviously because of, the COVID period and
Oh,
stuff
yes.
like that. I think it'll be even worse if you make that trip, right, to go for the meeting, and then you sit down and you go like, this was not necessary.
And the worst thing is, you find it out in the first 5 minutes of the 2-hour meeting, and you
Yeah.
go like, what do I do for the
Yeah.
next 1 hour, 55 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is why I think now we are like next level, right? At virtual meetings, I mean, sometimes we feel that way. And I've been through many of those meetings where you join the meeting and all that, and you don't even say a word.
Correct.
You're just there
Yeah.
listening.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you can practically switch off your camera
Yeah.
and just go do something else, and
Yeah.
then come back again and go like,
And no one would know.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, I think
You know?
you're right. Virtual meetings, you can do that. You're right. Turn off the cam, turn off the mic, go bake a cake or something, and come back 2 hours later. But at real meetings itself, and in some companies, it's almost cultural that they have to have lots of meetings and everything
Yeah.
in place. Especially if it's like a government stat board, very traditional type places. So today we're going to talk about, if only we could streamline meetings, and if our listeners out there, if our listeners have any ideas, how radical it is or whatever it is, just put it down in the comments to see what exactly their idea of an ideal meeting should be and what rules they should implement. While over on our side, we're going to talk about some crazy rules and whether or not it's feasible to put it on.
Yeah. Do some companies feel like these meetings, because they have so many of these meetings, right? It's because they want everyone to bond. Is there such a thing?
I think some do, but some other companies as well now, they are especially the tech companies, they are saying no, we're gonna limit meetings. So
I see.
we're gonna talk about it in a while.
Okay, cool. Let's talk about it on the Big Show TV. Meantime, here's Ali featuring Pink Sweats. Make it hot on Kiss 92. Love this song. Okay, yeah. So
I think the first thing that a company should allow their staff to do is to make it all right to decline meetings. Because sometimes if you're invited to a meeting and you look at the meeting, the content doesn't really involve me.
Right.
But a lot of times the bosses or the person who calls it just wants to invite everybody along to keep everyone in the loop. But I'm not necessary. It's not necessary for me to be in the loop. So
Right.
why? So or worse still, sometimes I CC you, I CC your boss, I CC everyone else, and then just because the boss is going, I need to be there to show face. And a lot of times these meetings are not quite necessary. So I'm just wondering about some companies are actually doing it. They're saying that it's okay to decline meetings. Fine. If you don't want to attend, unless you're really necessary.
Folks, if you're just tuning in right now, we are talking about new meeting rules we should adopt,
Yep.
but probably never will.
Never will. Yeah.
Probably.
Probably.
There's some people who will be listening in right now and who will adopt Adrian's suggestion. It's possible.
Of dropping out of a meeting.
Yeah?
Yeah. So
Right.
if you receive an invite, you say, "No, I don't want to attend this one. I've got 6. I've got 4 other meetings that day, and I need to prepare for it." So you don't have to give an excuse. Don't have to give a reason. Just allow the staff to say no.
Do you think some meeting organizers should tell their staff that this meeting is on a priority level of between 1 to 5, a certain number? And that way, maybe if you're senior management, you are a priority 5. You have to be there. If you are the intern, priority 1, go and settle your other stuff. Do you think that will work?
I think that could work as well. But then again, everyone's going to put their priority 5 meeting.
Fair enough.
They're just going to stick in there.
Fair
This
enough.
is a very important meeting. You have to attend, especially if it's from a big boss, a big higher up guy. It's going to say that, no, you all have to attend. But if you have something else to attend, just be able to say no. But very often we see it's peer pressure. Your colleagues are going to be there, so you have to be there, and you attend it. And many times it's just a waste of manpower, waste of man hours. Have you ever had to attend meetings where you felt it's like, do I even need to be here?
Over the years,
Over the years,
definitely.
yeah.
But I'm so thankful these days for virtual meetings.
Yeah.
That's why a virtual meeting to me is nothing.
You can just shut up.
You know what I mean? Because of all the many meetings where you've had to travel. I've had to drive to a certain venue. I have to drive to work to attend a so-called family meeting. Takes up so much of your time, and you sit down in the conference room, the meeting room, and you hardly speak like 5 words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You sit down and you want the meeting to be over as quickly as possible. So, and then when someone asks a question towards the end, you go like, damn it.
Yeah, I know.
Why? I thought finished already.
Quiet
Right?
lah,
There's always that one guy, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But it's
Hey,
like-
teacher, never collect homework today.
So a virtual meeting to me is a blessing. I can be at home, in my boxers, in my tank top or whatever, face the camera like, okay, upper body, you can see my shoulders and define biceps a little bit, but that's fine. That's okay.
Glenn, on that point, and Adrian, this is a question for you as well. I have a mini pet peeve, okay? So we have clients, I work with clients.
Yeah.
Clients request they would like to meet the voice of their show or their MC, right? So I meet the clients, virtual meeting, and I put in the effort, even though it's at home. I put on a shirt, sometimes I even put on a jacket, I do my hair, I look good, and I'm meeting a whole organizing committee of an event, 10 to 15 people,
Yep.
nobody turns on their camera.
Oh,
And I'm the only gundu with my camera on. Now, I do that because I want to tell my clients, look, I value you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But should virtual meetings also come with this thing where, hey, it's a camera on meeting? It's a camera off meeting. So everybody sets the standard. Because 5 of us might sit down.
Right.
Shalini might decide, today I'm going to be, introverted. I'm going to turn off my camera. And then she's talking to you, but you don't know who you're talking to. If I can't see you, let's just do a conference phone call. Right? Like, that's just my opinion.
yeah, actually, that's true.
Yeah.
I hate-
What are your thoughts?
But you
on
can't teach people these things. You know what I mean?
I know.
Especially the people who are paying you, bro.
that? Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I agree with you. It's rude.
It's rude. Yes, it's true.
It's rude. And I don't mind it so much if at the start of the meeting you apologize, say, oh, my camera's not working. Or say, sorry, I found
Bluff
my
one,
camera.
bluff.
Bluff one.
Bluff one.
Yeah, I know, my camera's not, technical difficulty.
Or at least everyone show your face at the start
at
of
the
the
start,
meeting.
yeah.
And then
You
maybe
might-
10 minutes in, if for some reason you want to switch off your video, your cam, it's fine. But
I find it disrespectful. Honestly, I just find it disrespectful. And I don't care if it's your company culture there, but during our Zoom meetings, no one turns on their camera. No, I think it's disrespectful. Can you imagine me talking to you and not having eye contact with you?
Exactly.
and
It's,
more
it's analogous there, right?
and more importantly, like for Kyle, because he's the MC, let's say,
Yeah.
it'll be nice for him to see the faces.
Yeah.
So that when he turns up for the event, he knows who's
Who's who? Yeah.
I once attended a meeting with 6 people, and you're right, all 6 turned off the camera, and I was so uncomfortable, and I was just talking to a black space, and to the point where you're right, myself made a phone call.
Correct.
To make it a phone call.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
Okay,
people
going
put
back
it-
on
Okay.
air, hold on, traffic.
Kiss 92 traffic.
Heavy traffic everywhere. KPE towards the ECP at Tampines Road exit. CTE towards the AYE at Bradell Road exit. PIE towards Tuas before Jalan Baha. Please avoid lane 1. There's been an accident there. And there's also been an accident at Upper Bukit Timah Road towards the city after Hillview Road. Avoid the left lane. Safe drive. All right, it's Glenn, Kyle, and Adrian Choo from Career Agility International, and today we're talking about new meeting rules, okay? Perhaps we should adopt these new meeting rules, but Adrian feels that because it's some radical suggestions that's going to be discussed here, some of these might never be implemented.
Yeah, like the first one we were talking about just now. We were talking about being able to decline meetings with no reasons given.
Yeah.
Or no excuses, whatever.
Bosses are going like, listening in right now, what?
What?
Everyone is going to say, no, I don't want to
Yeah.
attend the meeting.
And we were also talking with Carl over, if there's a Zoom meeting, some
Yeah.
people don't turn on their cameras. I think that's rude. You know what's even more rude than turning off your Zoom meetings?
What?
Coming late to meetings. I find coming late it's just disrespectful.
Yeah.
for a
And then you
meeting.
got to repeat yourself all over again.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's just annoying.
Right.
You come in late and, just come in before.
In person or virtual?
Anyway.
Yeah, but in person it's even
It's
worse.
even worse. It's disruptive, right? You
Yeah.
come in, and then the worst thing, you're right, you're going to repeat everything that you've said.
Adrian, that's like a boss calling a meeting and then saying, it's going to start at 8:15 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you'll start first. I'm going to be a little bit delayed. And then he walks in at 8:30 when you are in the depth of that discussion and goes, okay, what are you all talking about? Come, you start from the start. And then this has happened before.
Yeah, it's
right?
It's
Just
What-
go like, hey, hello, I was here really early, but nobody let me in.
I was waiting.
Am I really late? Technically, no. I was here half an hour before this virtual meeting. Nobody let me in.
Hello.
I'm in the waiting room.
guys. Yeah.
But Adrian, so what should you do? Punish them? Whack them? Scold them?
Whack them, I think. Not punish them. I think there should be there should be consequences. And I think if you're late once, it's not so bad. But there are some people who are just habitual latecomers. And I think as a matter of etiquette, as a matter of respect, we should not, we should come down hard on latecomers and say, look, it's been, if you're 2 minutes late, it's fine. Yeah. But if you're 15 minutes late and then everyone has to repeat,
Yeah.
it's just rude. So
Which is why I think everyone should make sure that children take up golf.
Huh?
Why?
Golfers are the best timekeepers. Golfers have the best time management. You don't have a choice. You know,
Yeah.
if you're late for your golf game, you're
you
gonna
miss
have a lousy golf game
Okay.
because someone is gonna go and tee off right now. You know,
Pressure.
there's another flight behind.
Pressure.
And then that one bad tee off and your entire 4.5-5 hours is basically done. You know, so golfers always get ready on time with time to spare. You know, it's like clockwork. So in terms of time management, I can tell you, golfers are always on time. Non-golfers, sometimes very hard for them to manage. You know what I mean? They're always late. Trust me. On Facebook right now, I mean, if you'd like to comment, if you're a golfer or a non-golfer who knows a golfer who has bad time management, tell us. I don't think there'll be many.
Okay.
I cannot relate. I've never played golf a single
what I'm
day.
telling you.
Then you need to take me, bro. Teach
Go-
me how to play golf.
That one, I think you better get a golf coach.
Alamak.
Yes, golf is the hardest game in the world, but it's also, I think, life. It is. It is 8:16.
Kiss 92 Time Check brought to you by
Okay.
For some reason, the Facebook isn't quite loading at my end, but we
Oh.
don't have an issue with the feed, right? Shalini, we're good? Okay.
We should be okay.
Okay.
Well, my computer wasn't working early on. I had no traffic news, and I was getting worried.
wow.
Now it's fine. It's fine again. Anyway, okay. So we're with Adrian Choo from Career Agility International, and we're talking about new meeting rules we should adopt, but probably never will. And I think the first one, right, that you mentioned, the right to decline. I think that's going to be very, very hard.
And if you think that's hard, this rule is going to be even harder to implement. Okay, this rule, which I'm going to suggest, everyone is fine and okay to leave a meeting midway if they find it's a waste of their time. So
There is no way,
I
Adrian.
heard there is an organization, and
Okay.
a very big organization. The CEO actually said, "Look, if halfway through or even 15 minutes through and you find out that this is not worth your time, you're allowed to get up, excuse yourself and walk off with no repercussions."
Yeah, right.
people-
Someone is like, okay, he's already told his assistant already. Anybody stands up and
take the-
leaves. Yep.
Habis.
them down.
I think Asians are not open enough to this. I feel like if we were having a conversation and if Glenn stood up and walked away, I would think, okay, I did something wrong. Or
Right.
I would feel hurt. I would.
But Adrian, are you talking about standing up and just walking off without saying anything, or
It's just excuse yourself. Just say, "I'm sorry. I actually I have another meeting to attend, or I have whatever it is." You can.
if
just
you
stand
say
and walk
something, it's not so bad. If
It's
you
not
just
like,
stand up and leave,
Yeah,
that's when
yeah, I know.
everyone should panic.
But it's interesting because this CEO actually tried it out and he said that it works. It increases the productivity because, and especially sometimes your part of the meeting is done. First, you only needed there for the first 20 minutes, and why are you sitting around there for the next 1.5 hours? Just to sit and listen. So if you're done, you just get up and you walk off. So you're allowed to walk out of meetings once either your part is done or if you find that that's not relevant, rather than sitting down and wasting time. So it's hard to implement. That's why I said today's topic is about rules and ideas that people will probably never see the light of day.
You know, there are some organizations, like I went to BP recently,
Okay.
and you've got to book the room, the meeting room, and there's a stipulated time, and if you don't meet that time, like golfers, it becomes a very stressful situation,
Right.
because your next group of people are coming in, right?
And they're crowding outside.
Yeah. So, do you think more organizations should implement this whole meeting room booking system where hopefully there's enough traffic whereby if I miss this timing, I have to leave, because if there's no one else coming in later on,
But
then you
isn't it already in place?
Actually, a lot of them have it in place.
Oh, do they?
Yeah. So it's time to go. But the worst thing is if you have a 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock meeting and no one books the 5 o'clock slot,
and then you
Carry on.
and it
Yeah.
drags and it
Yeah.
drags.
Yeah.
It drags and it drags.
Like Yo Ching says, people who go on and on and on and on after the scheduled meeting window should just be blocked by blocked by Teams or Zoom. Just
it's like,
permanently
come
mute them,
on.
lah.
Yeah.
You need to unmute yourself. Cannot hear. Cannot hear.
Hiya. And then the meeting goes on for another half an hour.
The longest meeting I attended once was 3.5 hours.
Oh
Yeah.
my
It was
goodness.
slated for an hour and a half, and there were differences in opinion. Let me put it this way: with two very senior folks, and it just dragged for 3 hours. I was like, oh shucks, it's already 8+ already.
Everyone's going like, get a room.
It's like
But you are in one.
A meeting room. Yes.
get a meeting room. Yeah, get a meeting room.
Hey, but sometimes there are some meetings that you attend slated for an hour, meeting becomes 2.5 hours,
Yeah.
but you leave feeling energized. There are positive,
They're nice ones, yeah.
good meetings as well, where very good exchange. You come out with a really good product. You feel enriched.
So okay. So this is and Shalini will be able to relate because Shalini handles. She helps me a lot. Shalini is almost like my assistant, and of course I have an artist manager as well.
Yeah.
So I will always let them know how long I have because people want to have a virtual meeting or sometimes an in-person meeting or whatever, and I'll tell them, okay, I have an hour. So they will then inform the clients that Glenn has an hour. Okay, so after that he has to leave.
Anything else, he'll charge you $500 an hour because that's his consultation rate.
Time is money, but no, I will never do that. But I know my concentration level. Like if I were to go beyond 1 hour, I'm not going to be focused anymore. So I rather give them my full attention for 1 hour and then I'm out of there, rather than just leave it open-ended and have the meeting go on for 3 hours. You know what I mean? and then I'll feel resentment. For what? I'm all about love these days. I want to love everybody. So you just need to be clear, right? I don't think anyone can take 3.5 hours at a meeting without feeling some form of resentment after that.
Yeah, very draining, especially if you are at loggerheads with the people there and trying to fight fire as well.
Yeah.
Very draining.
And sometimes you're just there to make sure that because sometimes it's the peer pressure to remain. Other times it's the office environment is so political that you're afraid if you leave, someone's going to make a decision on your behalf that's not going to be in your favor. Or someone's going to shoot you. So you're just there to stand your ground and
put up your defenses and just wait.
Yeah, correct. Just wait. And at the end of it, it's like unnecessary.
Yeah.
So we've seen that happen before.
Are there organizations where there are staff who look forward to meetings because today's meeting is chaired by Adrian? Sure, very nice one, very fun one. Adrian keeps it
finish in 45 minutes.
Yeah,
Or this meeting a lot of food. I used to have this boss. She was my mentor, and she used to have meetings. She used to cater food, fruits, healthy fruits. Every time there's a meeting in the afternoon, there's always fresh fruits. And if it's a long meeting, there'll be pastries after that.
Right.
So it does help perk up the energy level.
I think it's wonderful. I think if you have an organization where you're there in person and someone prepares, some snacks or some drinks and all that, kudos to that organization because you're, as I said, right, you're taking trouble to go down for the meeting.
Correct.
You don't want the meeting to end after 5 minutes. It's wasting everyone's time.
Yeah.
Right. Before there was no virtual option, but now there's a virtual option. I feel people who conduct virtual meetings should try and get it over as quickly as possible. So for virtual meetings, you can. There was once upon a time, I remember, for in-person meetings, someone was talking about wanting to end the meeting as quickly as possible. That's when it's wrong, you see. People are traveling from Jurong, from Clementi, from Katong, coming all the way, let's say, to the Thompson area or something like that, and then the meeting ends after 10 minutes.
Right.
It's like,
It's a waste of
Piss
your
everybody
effort.
off.
Yeah. Your commute takes longer than the meeting itself.
Which is why I say, if they've prepared some snacks and all that, that's very nice. That's a very nice organization. Even if the meeting ends after 15 minutes or whatever, everyone can still stand around, have their snacks and discuss, things. But now is a great time because virtual meetings are so common to end the meetings as quickly as possible. If it's a virtual meeting that lasts 3.5 hours, oh my God. I don't think that's justifiable at
not at
all.
all.
I don't think anyone can last.
I think anything more than 1 hour for virtual is too long because you get screen fatigue as well.
Yeah.
Right, your eyes get tired.
And I can guarantee you, anyone who's at a virtual meeting for more than 1.5 hours, there is usually another screen open where he's playing a game or watching YouTube.
For sure.
Guilty as charged.
Oh wow, Adrian,
I do that. So, damn. Oh, wow, sorry, no, nothing.
Here's another thing that came to my mind. So in my line of work, I go to many different organizations because I service them as an entertainer or voice artist or whatever, right? There are some organizations that will not offer you water. And I'm not saying that I need to be baby fed.
But it's courtesy.
Exactly. And sometimes you go in and come sit. Oh, this is my chairman, this is the boss, this is my MD, this is my CEO, and then they come to talk, and the whole thing goes on for an hour and a half. And the back of your throat is dry, and when you leave the meeting, you're thinking, why didn't they just at least offer me a drink? It's not that I'm coming from an entitled point of view, because obviously you can bring your own water, right? Take care of yourself. But do you think we should instill this culture of treat someone the same way, an external vendor, treat them the same way as you would if someone came to your house?
I think so. But, okay, I've
Then it would be
never had-
alcohol, bro.
Mezcal. Would you like some mezcal?
For my case, yes. Would you like some mezcal?
On the rocks or
I always ask my friends that. Would you like some mezcal? You know what their response is? We don't drink turpentine. I'm like, oh, that's very rude.
Oh, no.
Okay, we're going back on air.
92 traffic.
One heavy traffic situation and a couple of accidents. Heavy traffic on the CTE towards the AYE at Brattle Road exit. And please avoid lane 1 on the PIE towards Tuas before Jalan Bahar, as well as on the Bukit Timah stretch towards the city after Hillview Road. Avoid the left lane. Drive safe. We're back with Adrian Choo from Career Agility International. Once again, good morning, Adrian.
Good morning. And today we're talking about meeting rules that will probably never be implemented because they're just too harsh. And the reason why we are talking about this is because we've all attended meetings that have gone way too long than it should, and it should have died a natural death like 2 hours ago. But it's still going on, and sometimes the reason why meetings drag on longer than it should is because of that one person. That one person, when he starts talking. So I was at this client meeting the other day, and whenever this particular person stood up to say something, everyone's eyeballs will be rolling up. Oh, this guy again. And it goes like, back in the day, everyone was like, but they're too polite to tell him to sit down and shut up. So sometimes there's just always that one person. I'm wondering whether when our listeners
Senior guy. Was it senior guy?
He was an older guy. Was not that senior, but he was in the company for quite a long time. So they had to give him some face. And he started talking about, started making analogies. It's totally irrelevant. But everyone was just too polite to tell him to shut up. But you could see across the room, whenever he put his hand up to talk, everyone's eyeballs immediately automatic reflex. Oh, shucks, this guy. So I think we all know someone like that at every meeting. So can you imagine having a buzzer to tell people to just shut up, like no, Simon Cowell, I love him because the buzzer, you cannot perform, you cannot sing.
Yeah, America's Got Talent or Britain's Got Talent.
Always
the 3
like
axes.
He just goes
4 axes.
Enough.
But it'll be quite sad because your boss goes, yes, Mr. Tay, anything to say? And then the moment he opens, let me see something. Poor guy.
Okay, let's make it.
Send me an email, Mr. Tay.
Let's make it democratic then. Maybe 3 axes, three then you get off.
Do you think it's offensive though?
I'm sure it is.
Do you think people will be hurt?
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. And that's why these things will not ever be implemented, even though we wish we had one. I would love to have a button where you press and then the seat gives way, like,
Eject the person out of the meeting.
or he falls into a pit of fire or something like what's that movie?
Austin Powers.
Austin Powers, right? Hits it, boom, it disappears. And that's not feasible. So what I've seen some organizations do is quite interesting. So at the start of a meeting, they would actually allocate roles to individuals. One person is going to be a timekeeper. Another person is going to be the scribe, which means he's going to record and everything. And there's a particular role of the buzzer. And he is given full permission to buzz anyone out if they're off track, or if they are not, if they're wasting everyone's time, if he feels. He can just say, okay, move on, no hands on, move on. And then he has to move, the guy has to move on. And you cannot be angry with him because he's been assigned that role.
Right. Just like I'm never angry with Shalini because she's been assigned the red card and the yellow card.
Yeah, because it's her job.
So when I see the red card, that's it.
That's it.
We continued this conversation on the Big Show TV. Here's BB Rexa with Chase It on Kiss 92. But yeah, there should be one person, who's like the timekeeper, even in meetings as well. If it goes on for too long or whatever, just like whisper to the boss.
Oh, like even this red card, yellow card thing. I think meetings should have it.
Everyone should have. Okay, enough. Okay, red card. Okay, fine.
Per person, like if the person stands up and is hogging the meeting one way or another, he gets flashed the yellow card. The yellow card is a very polite card because the yellow card tells you you've 30 seconds left. The red card, shut the hell up now.
It's better than a buzzer because mid sentence you buzz him up.
Yeah.
But I wish I had a buzzer sometimes. So at that particular meeting, I still remember it was quite funny because I was just there as a guest because I was training. But this person, whenever he got up to speak, everyone's eyeballs automatically just rolled up. No? It was just almost spontaneous. It was like everyone.
It's like some people want to disrupt for the sake of it.
They just like the sound of their own voice. They just
or they just can't shut up. Some people, just the opposite. Actually, they've got good things to contribute, but
don't say anything.
they just choose to keep quiet. Some people, oh my goodness, should not even be saying anything, but they're up there talking and talking and talking.
Adrian, how do you manage someone who just talks too much? Like there are some people that just the one point is very simple to get at, but they will go all around the country talking about everything else just to drive towards that one point.
I would actually literally cut him off. Say it's a great point. You know, I'll summarize it for him, and I say, correct me if I'm wrong, but is that what you're trying to say? They say yes.
Basically,
okay,
ask them
yes.
what's your point, lah. But
Yeah.
but politely, of
Politely
course.
tell him to sit down and shut up. But but you know, it's once again, it's impolite to do that.
Yeah.
But if the person's really taking on too much time, and there are more important things to do on the agenda, and just sit down and just tell him, okay, point taken. That's a great point. And I think that demands a certain degree of leadership from the whoever's chairing the meeting.
Right.
Sit down and shut up.
Which brings me to my point. It's a good thing you brought up the person who is leading the meeting, the boss or whatever. I feel that bosses should control these meetings in the most creative of ways. I think they are not creative enough, and that's why meetings sometimes can get really boring.
Yeah.
Right? But some of your suggestions, I feel, actually have some possibilities. For example, if at the meeting, some of the employees come up to the boss and says, okay, I may have to leave earlier because I have this valid reason or whatever. And the boss, who perhaps maybe has taken note of a few individuals, who may have to leave early for various reasons, but for the good of the company, of course. Then, as the boss, I will try and execute the meeting in a way where I can let these individuals off first. So it's up to the bosses, actually.
Yeah, you're right.
The boss, but most of the time the bosses are not in the know. They have their secretary, they have their assistants, and they are just there to sit down in the meeting and just observe. They have no idea what's going on. So I think if bosses are a bit more proactive and knows their their workers, on a more personal level, and communicate with their workers on a personal level, everything will be better. Don't you think?
True.
But once again, may not be implemented.
May not be implemented.
yeah.
Because boss. So
Because the boss is in
the
total
boss is
control. Everyone follows the leader.
Yeah.
Unless the leader is a dud, then everyone's in trouble.
I think also the other thing is the thing that's really painful is for me is to be invited to a meeting which I need not have been there in the first place, and I get that a lot from our clients, where they're just like, I don't need to be there. And once again, you're right. If it's a virtual meeting, it's fine. I can just play Tetris on the side or something. But if it's a physical meeting, it's not. And the other thing I'm thinking also during meetings, what we should really do is we should ban all gadgets. I find I think it's as disrespectful as turning off your camera in the Zoom, where you're conducting a meeting and someone's messaging, things like this. I find it very rude. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I find it extremely rude as well. I've had a meeting with a pretty decent big organization. I walked into the meeting. Half of them were on their laptops.
Yeah.
And when I spoke to my counterpart that day about it, he said, well, no choice, they've got emails to respond, but then why did you put this meeting together if you've got an email to respond now? Why can't we be present in this moment?
But I feel like it's an unstoppable train.
You're right.
So it's like, I think we need to think how to work around it. Because if we call for the ban of devices at meetings and all that, 100% it's not going to happen. It's not possible. It's not possible.
Leave your devices at the door. When you come to the meeting, put it there. And it's tough. And I understand if it's an urgent message, but what really, really gets my goat, what really annoys me, is when you're conducting a meeting or training or whatever it is, and one person's there on his phone, looking on his phone, messaging, and you think, okay, maybe it's an urgent business. Then he starts smiling to himself. Then you're like, this is not a business call. This is not business. This is probably like just read something funny on Insta or something. But you can't see what's on the screen, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
It's like that doesn't look like a business message.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I think you should ban all devices at meetings. It's just annoying.
Should play it smart, like the guy laughs, right? And then 30 seconds later, so Mr. Tay, can I ask, so what do you think about this? Yeah, blur.
This reminds me of FD,
Why?
Because half the time Angel and myself were looking at him and he's laughing or we're talking about something and then he starts to laugh and we're like, why are you laughing? Oh yeah, he'll because it's like a private joke. I'm like, stop that.
Hey, I saw the red card.
Correct.
I'm so sorry.
Kiss 92 traffic.
Okay, let's see. PIE towards Tuas at the AYE exit. Traffic is heavy there. It's also heavy on the TPE towards the PIE after Pasir Ris Drive 8 exit. And also heavy on the CTE towards the AYE at Bradle Road exit. Now, doesn't seem to be clearing up at all. Also, please avoid lane 1 if you're traveling on the PIE towards Tuas before Jalan Bahar. There's been an accident there. Drive safe, please. We're back with Adrian Choo, CEO and founder at Career Agility International. If you would like to get in touch with him, you can at info@careeragility.org. Once again, welcome, Adrian.
Always a pleasure to be here. And today we're talking about meeting rules. So we were talking about meeting rules that will probably never get implemented because they're a bit too far-fetched. Like installing a buzzer to shut
A bit
the guy
funny
up.
as well.
Yeah,
Some
I
of
know,
the
yeah,
scenarios
yeah.
we've brought up, or you've brought up this
Yeah, I
morning.
know, it's quite funny. But how about serious ideas that have been implemented by well-known business leaders? So
Okay.
some ideas, like Richard Branson, he has a no chair rule.
A no chair rule.
Yeah, so
they,
his meetings...
they can't sit.
Yeah, you got to stand.
Oh.
So he says the energy level is better. But more importantly, you'll get tired after a while and after 1 hour, you want to end the meeting and go off. So no meeting lasts longer than necessary, then you can stand. So his meetings apparently have no chairs. Everyone stands around, talks. And if the earlier they end, the sooner you can rest your butt.
Right.
So that's his idea of being more efficient.
Can you imagine if Glenn Ong was Richard Branson's boss?
Uh-huh.
You know what I'll make him do? You know what kind of meetings we'll have? Half squat meetings. And let's see how much he likes that.
Plank meetings.
Making everybody stand. Energy is better. Half squat, let's see.
That's funny. And Facebook has a 2 pizza rule, which means that you limit the group size to how many people can eat 2 pizzas. So he doesn't like meetings that are more than 6, 7, 8 people.
Oh.
So if a group is too big, then it becomes unproductive. So his rule is Mark Zuckerberg's rule is if I order 2 pizzas and there's not enough, it means there are too many people there already. But then again, depends on who you invite. For me, I can whack one whole pizza myself.
Yeah. So it's just you and me, Adrian.
No,
Just two of us. There's the two of us.
It's got a Chinese wife, Lance.
Yeah, I think so.
Probably her idea. Anyway, here's Zed featuring Maren Morris, The Middle on Kiss 92. Okay, back with Adrian Choo. Okay.
Apparently, Steve Jobs has a walk around meeting where he doesn't sit down, which is I think is an extension of Richard Branson's stand-up meeting. He likes walking around, so his meetings are held walking around the compound into wherever it is, because he feels the creative flow of things
When you walk. I agree.
comes out. So
I
he
agree.
walks and he talks, and sometimes when he's walking from point A to point B, people come and talk to him. Then he just walks along with them, so he doesn't need to be stuck at a meeting.
Right.
So I think that could be interesting as well.
I quite like the standing meeting thing.
The standing meeting.
I honestly like it.
Yeah, just like I really do believe that when you stand up, it's a bit different.
Yeah.
Like even for us DJs, there's a standing console and there's a sitting console.
Yeah.
So when we were on 91.3, it was kind of half-half, but you could stand.
Yeah.
So that would be a standing
I
console.
saw a video clip of PM Wong. His office. He has a standing desk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that works. That's nice. Because I know a lot of people who have standing desks, but after a while they lower it, and then it becomes a normal desk again.
I know some people with standing desks that just never ever go back up once it goes down.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point of buying a standing desk? But on that point of studios, having that height difference,
Yeah.
you can feel a difference, lah.
You
It's
can.
like a delivery, right?
I mean, you can, but I'm so used now to this seated console as well, because I think posture is very, very important.
It is.
Right. Obviously, when you stand up, your posture is nice and upright.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. But it's people who slouch in seats like these when they sit down. That's when you kind of feel maybe you're not projecting as well as if you're
Yeah.
standing up.
Yeah.
So I think it's just discipline. It's just posture.
And it's
like now that I'm
important.
sitting down, it's fine, as long as I'm sitting upright.
Yeah, I think it's important. Your posture is very, very important, especially when it comes to interviews, job interviews. So whenever we coach our clients, if they're taking an interview, if it's a phone interview, don't sit down. You go walk and you talk. The energy
Yeah.
level is just there. You're walking, you're talking. Energy level is it's 10 times better than just sitting down. Or if it's a Zoom call, take it standing up.
Yeah.
And I think the energy level is so
It'll
much
keep
better.
you from falling off to sleep. I think at the end of the day, it's about that. Because sometimes when you sit down comfortably and all that, you kind of like, you want to doze off a little bit. You want to, just... Yes, Shalini, Susan. Okay. The Middle Z featuring Maren Morris and Gray right here on Kiss 92. All the great songs in one place. It's Glenn, Kyle, and Adrian, because it's Happy at Work Thursday today. Now, we were talking a little bit on the Big Show TV earlier about, standing or sitting. And I think I agree with the both of you. Standing, I agree with the both of you and Richard Branson.
Yeah.
Standing is actually the way to go if you're talking about a meeting, because then everyone needs to stay alert. No one can feel sleepy and fall off to sleep or whatever. If not, they'll fall on the ground. So my rule is that, when I'm seated doing work and stuff like that, and I start to feel a little sluggish or sleepy, I stand up. Stand up and walk around. So that concept is correct, I think, when Richard Branson says, it's more productive standing up, having a meeting than sitting down. So there's a no sitting rule, you're saying, right?
Glenn, you actually, in fact, implemented a more severe one.
Oh, yes.
Which is to do the plank or the half squat.
Correct.
And we have people texting the station now.
And
in fact, Mr. Ho says, I love the idea of the plank half squat meeting. So we're onto something here, bro. We are onto something.
Actually, the plank could be, pretty good. Just alternate between the plank and a half squat. And at the end of the meeting, it'll be the most productive meeting ever.
The plank one will be the shortest meeting. It'll be the 1 minute meeting. And then the half squat, maybe 5 minutes at most.
Maybe if there's an individual who just talks too much, right? Maybe if he wants to talk, he has to do it from a plank position. 1 minute max. He'll be out of breath after 40 seconds. And that should shut him up for good.
Anyway, it's been fun speaking to you about all these new meeting rules, which will probably not be implemented. Adrian is always creative when he comes up with the stuff we discuss.
It's always fun to be here. So for all our listeners out there, have a great weekend ahead. And the weather's going to be fantastic this weekend, I believe. So
Yes, it is. I hope it's going to be good,
It will be.
especially tomorrow.
It will be.
Okay, thank you very much, Adrian, for joining us.
always a pleasure.
We've been speaking to the CEO and founder at Korea Agility International, Mr. Adrian Choo. Coming up, headline news and sports.
Wake up.
Glenn, Angel,